This is the Your Dollars Making Sense podcast, brought to you by Jamie Blanton with Jacob Title, Bales Property Management and Home Building, SHH Mechanical, and Boyle's Tax Service.
Hey everybody, Richard Neese here with Weichert Realtors, the Space Place. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Your Dollars Making Sense, where financial intelligence is the key to financial freedom. If this is the first time you've gotten on, please subscribe to our Spotify channel. You can also check us out on iHeartRadio. We want to also say thank you to WKUL 92.1 for allowing us to get on here this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And talk about what I love, business, helping people. We started this podcast and this radio show about a year ago. I had one before called the Real Estate Rundown. This one, Your Dollars Making Sense. We really want to help good people get to a better place. And that's why I want to start investing in people. We want to start showing them the way to get out of that 9-to-5 or to build on their retirement. And just like I tell everybody, the first step is having a plan. You've got to know what retirement looks like. Maybe that means working for a nonprofit 40 hours a week or 20 hours a week, homeschooling your kids, or maybe that's sitting out on the beach on a $2 million beach home. That plan is how you get there, and we can go backwards off of it and really build on it. You may want to work for the next 50 years, or you may want to retire in 3. We can help you with that by giving you the basic principles of financial intelligence. So today I've got a special guest. We've got Daniel Obrien from Triad Martial Arts. He's got several dojos, academies here, Huntsville, Madison. Daniel, thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, Richard. Thanks for having me.
So like I talk about all the time, I want to help good people get to a better place. And if you've listened to my podcast before, and many folks have listened to it on YouTube, on Facebook, then you'll know that my favorite episode is the greatest investment. Everybody asks me, what is the greatest investment you've ever made? My wife may say it was marrying her, and I would definitely agree on that. But really, my greatest investment was an investment in myself. I've struggled through times. I've worked at the sheriff's office. I've worked at a poultry plant. I've worked in so many different places. And every time that I feel like I'm getting into a slump, my life's going awry, I decide, hey, I need to start putting something back into myself. I've got to recharge. I've got to feed my mind. I've got to feed my soul. So I'll invest in books. I'll invest in teachers, mentors. And I know you do that on a daily basis. Tell us a little bit about your business, about your calling, I should say, what you guys do, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. So I started martial arts at the age of 15, and it wasn't long after that I realized this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. And I think, the typical battle plan was, after school, I was intelligent in school, so I didn't have to try very hard. Martial arts taught me how to try hard. It taught me a lot of these other things that I wasn't expecting it to teach me as far as discipline, and never really had any of that. With martial arts, I became a guy that was the last pick on the basketball team to being one of the best in my school at basketball, and it was all due to martial arts just showing me how hard to try.
To be fair, Daniel, I mean you're in pretty good shape overall, and you're a big guy too. So basketball is going to be an easy pick, I would say. True.
It did, and it was. I did have a little bit of a love for basketball, but at least what I thought was, it was a little bit of a passion, and I guess that's true with anything. If you're passionate about anything, you can be good.
That's right.
At anything. And it all starts with that. And, it wasn't my senior year. I tried to quit the basketball team, even though I made all state and all county, that kind of stuff. I tried to quit that year because I was like, I want to do martial arts. This is what I want to do, and my coaches and things thought it was silly. And, still I was able to juggle both. I ended up doing both. Went to college, took a bunch of classes that I just realized, I guess I tried to take some business classes to as I thought.
Because everybody takes business classes,
I thought I was going to be running a business.
And you are running a business.
I didn't learn anything in those business classes,
That's
honestly.
Right. And
then the biggest, experience I had with business was, having the school, basically put on my shoulders where I got to a point where I could teach, and I was the sole teacher, and I had to have responsibilities. I learned the hard way. You
became a parent, business owner, everything all at once. So unfairly, I didn't give off a list of your credentials. I don't have it in front of me. I know that you've got multiple black belts. Is it jiu-jitsu and karate? Go ahead and tell me a few of those things.
So I'm a 3rd degree black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I was just the first, 3rd degree black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I'm a 4th degree black belt in karate. I've been doing martial arts for 18 years. Been doing martial arts for 18 years.
And did I read, I mean, it's been a few years ago, but weren't you like a Pan Am champion of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Pan American gold medalist, North American Grappling Association, 10-time champion, absolute champion in all weight classes in several tournaments. I've won the Olympic trials. Well, sorry, silver medal in the Olympic trials for jiu-jitsu. Awesome. Which it's not the Olympics, but
so you're just not a regular old black belt you can find anywhere. Yeah. And I know it's hard to list off those things. You've done very well, obviously, with the focus that you put into it over the last 18 years. But I just wanted to throw that out there that, I mean, you are in Coleman, a small town, but the talent that you have is national or international. And we appreciate you coming on the show today to talk about that. One thing that I'll tell you is my son is in one of the karate classes, and he's got 3 sisters. 2 of them are older, 1 younger, and he was having problems with confidence. He was having problems with making decisions. In just about 9 months, he's went from not even wanting to participate in the class to wanting to come home and practice. And he usually kicks my butt in class too. We've got a punchy bag and all that stuff. So he popped me the other day, and I'm pretty sure that you taught him that punch because it about busted my nose open. But what I want to get back to is the investment. Obviously, passion and business and profit have aligned for you. You run a business that has multiple schools. Tell me a little bit about that. You said you got thrown into it, but how have you improved upon what you were given?
Well, that's an interesting question. So, so I guess when I started, it was everything, the business side. We've always been extremely professional, right, martial arts wise. Like the technique has been above and beyond where our academy has been. And when I took over the school originally, like I said, we had 17 probably paying students, but we had more students than that.
You're training a lot of people. They just weren't paying, right?
Yeah, and so there was a little box on the wall that you slid payments into, and it was like people sliding IOUs into that thing, and you didn't know who was paying what, and there was no structure to the business side. When we took it over, we had to kind of create and form all that. Yeah. We had to, get people, one of the best things we did was get an automated billing system.
Absolutely.
You have to have one of those as a gym and just to keep up with the payments, and, and it keeps people paying regularly. I think they're just, it gets them used to the payment, right. It just takes all the pain out, all the worrying out too. And, it's pretty simple. You have people shut it off whenever they want to discontinue their memberships and things like that. And you have different deals. Not only that, but people want to give you your money when you're more professional.
That's right.
And if you're, we realize, I'm a teen, I feel like a teenager, I'm a young kid running this martial arts thing, and then you got these adults that look up to me and are giving me their money. I mean, when you give a 22-year-old your money, you want them to trust it. You want to trust what they're doing with it, especially if you're giving them bank information.
Well, what I'll tell you on that is I call it the Netflix effect. If you're direct depositing money into something, rarely do people go in and audit their own bank accounts. Exactly. So when I've got to write a check to you, and I know your value, and I have no problem with it. But if there's any question, I've got to write it physically. That makes it harder for me to do it the next month and the next month. So it's a great move. And what it does is it allows that consistency through, because I know you've got a plan for expenses. You guys are upgrading the dojo here. I'm sure you've done that in other places recently. So you've got to have that money that you know is going to be there so that you can go get, maybe it's a loan or pay for cash and have that stuff for the other equipment.
And I've always lived very frugally, honestly. Like, well, I mean, up until 2 years ago, I drove a car that was $400. I paid for it, and I've never had a car payment until 2 years ago. Yeah. And all that's,
which I think it was a great move. I mean, you guys.
Oh, for sure. It's been good for the business. Just having like an advertisement rolling around in a small town, like that's honestly been one of the best business investments we've made. And just so every time that we've ended up making more money, I've tried to do my best. I've only made the same amount consistently across the board, and then I take the same amount from the dojo, and then the rest I've kind of put back and make other small investments in where I'm professionalizing the books. I'm investing towards creating a website.
Absolutely.
We're always trying to put that back in. And that was some good advice that, Wonder Boy's dad gave me. And, he was a UFC fighter that I trained, UFC number 2, UFC welterweight contender. Nice. And, fought for the championship and stuff. They have a super successful business out there in Simpsonville, South Carolina. Yeah. Their school, they got an after-school pickup program. Wonder Boy, he works his butt off. At 2:00, he's picking kids up from school, and then he teaches. He sleeps in a little late. He probably gets in gets up at 10 and trains.
He probably isn't going to listen to this. I don't want to see you guys throw it on that. So I'm coming up against a break right now. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Please check us out if you're getting out of the car. Or you would listen to it on the radio. Check us out on Spotify, iHeartRadio. Your Dollars Making Sense. We've got a year worth of content to help you grow your business, to help you invest, learn about taxes, forming LLCs, the whole 9 yards. So please check us out on there. And I just want to thank our sponsors. If you guys are interested in being a sponsor on the show, you can give me a call at 256-708-1511. Just make sure you tune back in on the second segment, and we'll be talking more about the dojo and how he's grown his business.
This is the Your Dollars Making Sense podcast, brought to you by Jamie Blanton with Jacob Title, Bales Property Management and Home Building, SHH Mechanical, and Boyle's Tax Service.
Hey everybody, Richard Neese here. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in to Your Dollars Making Sense. This is the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Karate edition. We've got Daniel Obrien with Triad Martial Arts. And Daniel, what was your website that you had some training on?
The website is DanielObrienOnline.com.
All right, and he's got training on there. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. He was telling me he's got folks subscribing all over the world, not just the United States, for his training, online stuff, and his unique style. Before we left, we were talking about you guys taking over the business. We were talking about how you were changing things up. You were making it more professional. You continue to dump money back into that to build your brand and the brand of make it a better training facility for the kids, for the adults. Let's talk a little bit about classes real quick. What do you guys provide as far as classes go? Is it for young people, just kids, adults? And what kind of environment are you guys trying to create?
Well, I guess we're trying to create a good learning environment, almost like an artistic environment, an inspiring environment, a comfortable environment. When I took the dojo over, it kind of felt more like a doctor's office, a hospital. Yeah. It felt like, gotcha. It's like, you go in there, you train, and then it's kind of scary. I feel like it was a little intimidating walking in.
I would agree with that.
Changed the color scheme a little bit. I wanted to make it a little bit more kid-friendly. We had somebody walk in the other day on a Saturday. We were closed. They knew nothing about Triad, nothing about our credentials. Used to, it was like...
Yeah, that's what you stood on.
That's what we stood. Come to Triad. This is the place to go because they got the good stuff. Well, and then the people who had never heard about us, they were just... They're looking for something more. They want to feel like they're in a dojo before they're in a dojo. You know, and first impressions are a big thing. And I realized that our first impression, if we could, our teaching was always decent, which it could always get better. I'm always trying to improve as a teacher, as a businessman. I'm trying to improve every aspect. So I don't want to say.
I think they call that life. Isn't that what you're supposed to be doing? So, improving in all areas.
You're always. As a martial artist in general, I think as a human, everybody should be a martial artist. You should be constantly trying to improve on your weaknesses,
So one thing I would like to point out as far as what you guys accomplish, and I see this on a daily basis. I actually attended a few classes when you were probably 20, 21, something like that, and I was a little bit older. I think I'm older than you. I don't know. Anyways, I saw that, and then I also saw what you guys are doing now. And I like to look at it as you have different gym types. So you've got like a Planet Fitness that is very, very soft, and anybody can walk in and they feel completely comfortable. And then you have like a hardcore, heavy lifting gym. You guys have a good mix of both in that sense.
We're trying to be a mix of both, and honestly, I've modeled it off of what I wanted, so I just kind of thought, hey, what would I have wanted if I came in here to a dojo at first impression? And it's like, this is what I wanted. And, we've made the building look all Japanese on the inside. I've tried to make the
music. You guys have, even the time that I've been there, you've been improving the gym or the dojo, the gym.
Just trying to make people's experience a little bit better, little devils in the details sort of thing. And like I said, it makes it more enjoyable for me as a teacher too. When you can sense people are enjoying to be there, and it's like I said, you don't want to hear people the light music in the background. It keeps you from hearing people coughing or just a little less distracting when somebody's phone rings and stuff. We do have like a very structured dojo. It's a good atmosphere where people are lining up according to rank. It's not unorganized. It's very structured. Everything we do is structured, so kids are able to develop discipline through just the structure of it. And I think, to me, I learn better under the structure. It's like when we're all doing stuff together and it's organized, the energy in the room just it fills the room a little bit more. People are, you're as a teacher, you're trying to engage the students to where you're trying to get them all to answer. You're asking them questions, and there's definitely a balance. Running a business is about balance, and you can't have just all serious business.
That's right.
I think we are more on the serious side, but I do think, at that point, it's preference. You got to have a little fun too. You got to keep everything interesting. You got to keep the energy level up. Classes being too long can be a bad thing. Classes being too short can be a bad thing.
So what I'll say about that is it's comfortable enough that I could walk in there with my 4-year-old and trust that it's going to be disciplined, structured, but not too aggressive. But on the other side, if I wanted to train personally to do BJJ, then I can on a competitive level. And that's the great mix that you guys have kind of harnessed.
Well, and that was harnessed over time. You can't be I was never afraid to, and which it may not be the same a year from now. I'm never afraid to tinker with my recipe.
Should always be changing. Yep.
So I may tinker with it, and then I might, dial back and say, hey, that didn't work. But you can't be afraid to experiment. And that's what's made my, martial arts training interesting and sought after, is like, I'm always like looking for a better way. It's like, okay, I'm good at this.
That's right.
You think I'm good at this, but I think I'm not good at this.
There's always room for
I think I can improve.
That's right. And I like that. And I'll tell you one thing about the structure side, and you can tell me if this was the intent or if it just happened naturally. Obviously, when I watch, martial artists, but especially karate, and you start looking at, you've got a line of people working together, working in sequence, and they're all doing the same moves at the same time. You need that discipline and structure. And I love our country, and I love America, and I love our culture, but at the same time, we miss out on a lot of that too, where it's all about individuals. It's all about what I can do and how I can hurt somebody or do this or do that. Whereas when we teach that discipline and the respect, I think we need more of that, and you guys are doing a great job with it.
Well, I appreciate it. Some people love it, and some people hate it, and that's why some people want the banana sticker and the pat on their back and just being told they're doing good. There's a lot of martial arts schools that are out there, and they're an entertainment business.
Yep.
We are not an entertainment business first and foremost. That's on the back of our list. And, one of the things that my instructor always taught me was, put the people first and the business second, and or put the people first and then put the martial arts, people in martial arts and then the business.
Right.
I've always followed that rule. I've always trained. I train every 6 days a week. I don't train on Sunday. But I train 6 days a week working on various things. I still do karate. I don't always I set time aside. I've got people wanting to train jiu-jitsu with me on these days, and I'm like, sorry, man, I'm going to train. Today's karate day. Yep. And I'll go do karate stuff by myself or with some other black belts or something. And I'm always trying to, like you were saying, add to myself. If you're investing in yourself, then your self-worth becomes better. Not only that, but you learn a lot about yourself. I think by investing in yourself, you improve the others around you too. Right. So I'm able to, by investing in myself, I improve as a dad, I improve as a businessman, I improve as a teacher. So selfishly, I'm trying to improve, but as a side effect of that, the others around you, you got to lead by example, and I think that's the main thing. I've never been the kind of guy that's talked about, I've always been the guy that walked the walk,
That's
not
right.
just talk the talk, And
I know this has been said probably 1,000, 10,000 times, but Jim Rohn said it this way. He said that you don't chase success, you attract it. And you attract it by becoming more valuable.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys are doing.
It's a byproduct. All of this is a byproduct of me being passionate about martial arts and knowing that, like, hey, this is something I want. It's such a big part of me. I enjoy doing it, and I want to do it for the rest of my life. How can I do that?
Absolutely.
And then through that, it's like it's ended up helping other people. And just the same way it did for my instructor Johnny. It did.
Absolutely.
And it makes you want to give back in that sense too. I have an option. Where I could probably teach from my house and make just as much money as I'm doing now, but I'm not going to influence.
That's right. It's making an impact on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be as good for the community. Of course, I have to put up with the riffraff sometimes of some people not being satisfied or whatever, which hardly ever happens. But at the same time, you can't make everybody happy, but we're going to try to make everybody happy.
That's right.
I mean, I'm always, if somebody comes in and criticizes me, I'm not gonna I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen. I may take it with a grain of salt, but I'm going to listen, and I try to use every experience. It's like tapping out, you can't be afraid to tap. That's how you, the only reason I've gotten so good at martial arts is because I've tapped more than anybody else. I've gave up more than anybody else.
I love it, man. So Steve Jobs, I'm pretty sure that he said that the only way to make everybody happy is to sell ice cream. And I'm not selling ice cream. So, I mean, you're going to have people that are disgruntled that you didn't fit exactly their mold, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. So we're coming up against another break. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. Check us out on our podcast on Spotify. You can also check us out on our Heart Radio. You can give me a call, hit me up on Facebook. We'd love to have your success story in small business. We'd also love to hear about the questions you have so we can help you as a business owner, as an investor, whatever the case might be. Now, we're about helping good people get to a better place, and that's what we're going to do on a consistent basis. Make sure you tune into the third segment of Your Dollars Making Sense.
This is the Your Dollars Making Sense podcast, brought to you by Jamie Blanton with Jacob Title, Bales Property Management and Home Building, SHH Mechanical, and Boyle's Tax Service.
Hey everybody, Richard and Denise here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the third and final segment of Your Dollars Making Sense, where financial intelligence is the key to financial freedom. So I'm super honored to have Daniel Obrien here with me today. He's telling me war stories about the things he's done and all the crazy stuff and how much focus, discipline, and time it's taken to get to where he's at. But we're also talking about business. Business is important. Business is a way that he can continue to do what he loves. And when you have passion as well as profit that meet, that's a dangerous combination. It can be great for so many people. We're talking about impacting people's lives. So Daniel, we're talking about tournaments, we're talking about this, we're talking about that, but we didn't get to what the actual classes that you guys offer for the dojos that you got. So can you run through that real quick?
Yeah, so we offer classes for kids as young as 4 till my oldest student I've had was like 88.
Nice.
So I mean, and I think it's because we have a more artistic approach to everything.
Yeah.
It's more about the technique than it is brute strength, and people feel comfortable that they can go at their own paces, and everybody's in there for the same common goal to improve themselves. It's a real martial arts. They have a saying, martial arts is for everyone, and it's not just for the athletes. Right. Even though martial arts has made me an athlete,
right.
And I'm an athlete because I enjoy it and I like working out because it protects my body and my joints and allows me to do what I can do longer.
Keeps you mentally stable.
Yeah,
too.
I mean,
that's important.
I mean, there's so many benefits to it, but I enjoy really. I enjoy teaching all aspects of all ages. Men, women, kids. Women seem to always learn faster than the men.
It's because they listen.
They have less of an ego.
That makes sense.
There's definitely an age range where I feel like where kids seem to love it a little bit more. But I think the different ages that you get them started, like you're saying, like a 4-year-old, or our little Dragons class, my 4 typically that's 4 to 7. That class is really good for building discipline, especially at an early age,
Absolutely.
which kids don't get,
It amazes me that you keep 11 to 12 kids, sometimes more, at least somewhat focused. Most of the time you've got about 10 of them that are really focused, and then 1 or 2 that are kind of out there. But to see that progression, even over 6 to 9 months. I've seen some kids, not including mine, but I've seen some kids that are running around the room at one point, and then by 9 months from now, they're standing with their yellow belt,
exactly.
And they're on point.
Well, exactly, and the whole goal-oriented process. I remember when I was starting, like there was so many people that would just quit smoking.
Yeah,
because it's martial arts is structure based through the belts, so it's like it gives you small goals to meet. Like in business,
right.
You can kind of set, okay, I want to make these improvements to the dojo.
That's
you
right.
don't realize that by achieving these small goals, it makes these bigger goals more attainable. And, I feel like I needed that as a kid. If I would have started martial arts when I was 4, I don't know if I would have stuck with it though.
That's right. That's a good point.
I worked for my classes. That's what I needed. Everybody has to be catered to a little bit differently too. And as an instructor, your job is to try to bring out the best in everybody. And to some people, it's like you got to be a little mean to them,
right.
And to some people, you've got to pat them on the back more. And to some people, everybody's a little bit different. And I think, that's important. It does take time to kind of learn that. And, a lot of times people want to throw their kid in and expect instant success.
Sure.
And that it's about consistency. If you're consistent, which is one of the ways we've structured our payment plans is like, now used to, you could pay by month.
Right.
Our student base was so much lower when you could just like you
pull
had
somebody out anytime.
Yeah, and you could pull out anytime. People weren't committed; they were afraid to commit. Well, you get somebody to sign a 6-month or a year contract in 6 months. Now, in that 6 months, they're going to come because they already
That's
committed
right.
to the money. So they're and me, being frugal. If I paid for something, I'm going to use it. I'm going to clean my plate, and take advantage of it. And our number of students has gone up so much, and our retention rate has gone up because sometimes the first few months are the hardest. The first month is the hardest.
I've seen kids that come in and they don't even want to participate for the first month.
Kids and adults across the board. Once they hit about that like 3-month period, they've experienced, they've gained some knowledge, they've learned some techniques, their discipline has improved, their confidence improved, they got more comfortable in the class. It gives them time to get comfortable, get to know people. New people come in so they can kind of they get to feel their superpowers a little bit.
That's right.
They get
move up the totem pole. Yeah,
and I try to give and as you're more experienced, I try to give students more opportunities to lead and stuff too. I guess as an instructor, like I said, you got to cater to people differently. And that 6-month period, 6-month to year period, having people commit. They want to commit up front. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. Like, there's a lot of people though that are looking for a way out. They pick up the guitar. Oh, I really want to learn to play guitar. They play a few things and they realize they stink.
Yep.
And then they don't ever pick it up again.
Put the work in.
And it's like if you just play it for a month and you learn these 3 chords, you'll be playing 6 songs by the end of the month.
Absolutely.
And it's like you realize how a little bit goes a long way. But there is a little bit of work up front. There's going to be. You got to do stuff that's hard to get stuff that you want,
and put yourself out there.
And eventually the work becomes enjoyable. Like, I enjoy the work. I enjoy the finding and the discovering and the improving.
That's because he's kicking everybody's butt. That's why you enjoy it so much.
And I'm actually getting my butt kicked a lot too, because that's one of the reasons I constantly improve with on the martial arts end of it. Also with the business side, we can relate that. But it's like I don't ever start any of my matches. I'm grappling chicken farmers, fighting chicken farmers around here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fighting other world champions.
Right.
Yet I'm still getting better. And it's because I'm constantly throwing myself in bad places.
Right.
I'll
starting at a disadvantage.
I'll start at a disadvantage and I can learn from beginners. I can learn from beginners. I'm learning. They'll sometimes they're the most creative. They're throwing things at me I never seen. They're trying things I never tried before.
It's just I got you.
And it's the same way with business. You're just kind of you've got to not be afraid to fail.
That's right.
I'm not afraid of failure. And I like if Triad burns to the ground, like I know
that's right.
My family will be all right. I can make stuff.
That's right.
It's not the end of the world. I'm not afraid of failure.
So one thing I want to ask, it doesn't matter if you're an elite level martial artist, athlete, business person, musician, everybody goes through slumps. Everybody falls into situations where they're not in their rhythm. How do you pull yourself out of that? I mean, do you go back? Like for me, I know when I start doing poorly at things, it's because I'm not mapping out my day. And my first thing I've got to do is map out my day so I can have a good focus on what I'm going to do, what I'm going to accomplish. What do you do being a very disciplined and focused person? What do you do to pull yourself out of that slump?
There's a ton of things like, I know we've talked about, I do a lot of meditating, and I definitely think like I think honestly, like any sort of person that I can think of, like business wise or life wise, think about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, guys like this that are constantly busy. They definitely set time aside for themselves, though, for self improvement. And like, there's time where I just work on my breathing exercises and meditating and doing certain things, and where I'm just trying to either improve my mental toughness or I'm trying to reflect on how I could have done things better.
Right.
You can even relate that to prayer or anything, like there needs to be, I feel like some time set aside where you're actually thinking about what you did and how you can do it better, and you try to look at it from all angles. You can try to look at it objectively. You try to look at it, like I said, if something's working, you still need to be trying to improve it. If something's not working, you need to be trying to improve it. You don't have to like failing, but you don't need to be afraid of failing.
So the one thing we can talk about, we can unwrap that slowly. The one thing that you do when you say, "Holy crap, I had a bad day," so what do I need to do that night or the next morning to make make it to where it doesn't carry over?
Well, used to, I would think it was like, there's a lot. I really can't. I don't know if I can pinpoint
Okay.
one thing. A valuable piece of information that I got, and it was a saying from Hickson Gracie, who's the best jiu-jitsu guy ever. And he basically, at one point, I literally trained like a maniac, like madman every day. And like there was a point where it you kind of start to resent it like work because you're putting too much in. For me, I needed to know how to set back. It took discipline for me to be able to to make myself stop, So taking time off too makes me look at things from a different light, makes me look at things from a different angle. Teaching makes me look at things from a different angle. I'm doing a lot of the same things, but I'm getting a lot of different angles.
Right.
I'm also a student.
Exactly.
I'm a student at all times. And, luckily being involved in a bunch of different martial arts has gave me different perspectives too.
Makes sense.
When karate wasn't going my way, like I always had something else, jiu-jitsu, having fun. I'm playing guitar and trying to learn new things right now.
Nice.
Like I said, it's just like, I like starting over. You know what I'm saying? I like starting over. Yeah. If something isn't going my way, I used to look at it like, I'm going to just forever suck at this,
Yeah.
And I'll never be good. And that's what gets most people to quit and stop. It's like, that's the wrong attitude to have. And it's like, it's exciting because it's like, okay, I don't know everything here, so I get to start over. It's motivational for me. And usually when I just change my tone of attitude,
that's right.
That's what allows me to break through and have good days. You know what I'm saying? You take back. I would. I'm so used to winning now in my training versus my training partners. There's certain days I will just make myself, like I tell myself going in the training session, all right, you have to tap 3 times before you can tap anybody. So like I will not.
Gotcha.
I'll get closer to being, if they're not tapping me, I put myself in a worse situation.
Yeah. Even
worse. Who knows? I'm getting out of the worst stuff by the time that's over, but I'm also getting tapped. I'll go until sometimes I'll just hold my breath and let them tap me.
Yeah.
So they're reaping some benefits too. My training partners are getting to explore, and
it's also keeping you humble.
It keeps me humble. Too. It's like
But Daniel, we're about to run out of time. We'll have to have you on the show again sometime so you can kind of go through some of the other stuff that we've talked about. I've enjoyed the conversation, the interview. I do want you to tell the folks how they can get a hold of you, how they can put their kids in your classes, how they can get your training. Just 2 minutes worth of telling them how they can get involved with you.
Triad Martial Arts changed my life, and I'm lucky enough to be the head instructor of Triad Martial Arts. It's a world-known martial arts facility located right here in Coleman, Alabama. You can reach us on Facebook. I have 2 other locations, one in Madison, one in Huntsville. Great set of all-star set of instructors up there. Great with kids, adults, all ages. If you've ever been interested in anything martial arts, or you just need to be more goal-oriented in general, maybe you've never been interested in martial arts. You're just looking for something new and different, and you're not goal-oriented. This will help you. It's martial arts has helped me in so many more ways than just my ability to defend myself. You can contact us on Facebook, Triad Martial Arts Academy Coleman. You can also watch out for us on Instagram. We're active on there all the time. I'm constantly teaching self-defense seminars. You can be looking for me in your areas for self-defense seminars.
Yeah, so many ways. Daniel Obrien.
DanielObrienOnline.com is the website.
So if you're not local, you can go on there and get some training sessions and videos and stuff like that.
Follow my Facebook page, Daniel Obrien fan page. I'm posting free content out there all the time. The free content, it definitely helps a lot. It's just a little tip of the iceberg of what we have to offer. But again, martial arts is so much more than technique. And I can't wait for you guys to let your lives be changed by it as well.
Well, Daniel, I appreciate you coming on the show today. Your Dollars Making Sense is about investing. It's about investing in yourself. It's about investing in businesses. It's about investing in real estate. We want to help you any way that we can. If you want to be on the show, if you've got a question, if you got something you want hashed out business-wise, you can always reach out to me on Facebook. You can give me a call at 256-708-1511. I hope you guys have a great Saturday. And hope you tune in next week. We'll have some big things coming up.